Welcome to the 2022 Maui County candidate interviews. Today we have Elle Cochran, who's running for State Representative District number 14, which includes Lahaina and surrounding areas. Elle, welcome. Nice to have you.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
For the first question, if you could let all our viewers know about your civic engagement, your past, your involvement with the county council, and why are you running for this state representative seat?
Okay, yeah. I know a lot of you here today, and Elle Cochran. I was West Maui County Council member for 4 terms, which was 8 years total, and did run for the mayoral. Took a couple-year break, and when I heard Angus was stepping out of the House of Representatives seat, I thought, oh, well, that makes it an open seat. And typically open seats are easier to run for. So I thought, yeah, I'll check it. I'll try it out, and just very excited to learn a different level of government for, and another reason, and wanting to bring the knowledge and education and things that I've learned and gained being a council member on the county level, which I always say that's like the, boots on the ground, the real in the trenches type of form of government where you get the instant reaction from your, from the neighborhood and the decisions that you make daily, whether, you're shopping or pumping gas or just walking down the street, and you have instant feedback from that community on decisions you made that day. And this will be different. I'll be on a whole other island, which I'm prepared to do. Again, I've been over there to walk the halls and meet and greet and get to know current legislators and hopefully, I'll be working side by side with them. So I've been trying to build rapport and just kind of this meet and greet, like, hey, I may be here sitting next to you. So I'm Elle and I would like to meet you and let's get to know each other a little bit. And on the council, I chaired the Infrastructure and Environmental Management Committee for 8 years. So I'm very well, knowledgeable about our infrastructure needs, a lot of environmental issues, in particular, the injection well stuff. And I know Lucienne Dene is here, who's been a part of that from beyond day one. And so a lot of things I feel like I can bring a lot of that knowledge that I gained from county level into that state level of government. So again, I'm looking forward to, putting my hat in the ring and see how that goes.
So before you got involved as a county council member, you were doing civic engagement. What were you particularly involved in also that led you to getting to that office?
So what got me involved in even figuring out what's the county about? What's a council member? What's the planning department? It was Save Honolulu Coalition. I lived in Honolulu Valley, off the grid, and found out that the pineapple company, Maui Land and Pine, wanted to build a private 18-hole golf course, 45 luxury home in a gated community, and pretty much privatize Honolulu Bay. When I learned of that, I thought, I don't agree, but let me get out there and educate the community and ask my fellow surfers and other people in this community, what do they think? And no one supported it either. And that's kind of where Save Honolulu Coalition grew, and it just took off like wildfire. We got thousands of signatures on a petition instantly, like internationally, because Honolulu Bay is world renowned and very well loved. So that spearheaded me in learning what the Maui Island Plan was about. And Lucienne Dene again was there who helped, I got involved with Maui Tomorrow, and it was a huge learning curve. But I jumped in head first because I knew it's what I needed to do in order to make sure that we save Honolulu. And today I can proudly say that it has been saved, although we are working on a management plan in perpetuity, which is forever and ever. So that is still in the making. But I am also currently involved in, we got to take care of, just because the plan's not completed, people are still loving Honolulu to death as we speak, and it needs malama. So I've been able to reinstate the Makai Watch program and things that I started before I became a council member, and continuing those efforts today.
Thank you very much for that. In fact, you mentioned Lucienne. She will be our next interviewer. Lucienne?
Okay. There she is.
Unmute. Thank you, Paul, and welcome, Ellie.
Thank you, Lucy.
Let's see, of all the important questions I could ask, I'm going to throw one into my favorite area of water. The legislature from time to time has to weigh in on proposed bills that are kind of, shall we say, directed at the well-being of one corporation or another, usually about water. And how would you, as a freshman representative starting out, be able to be effective, knowing that your leadership may tell you that if you oppose certain water bills, that nothing that you propose for your legislation will get out on the floor?
Yeah, thank you for that. And I did learn that very quickly visiting the state legislature and understanding that, you're the low man on the totem pole. It is about seniority up there. I've had what you're explaining I've had that experience on the council level too, being the only sole vote on many, many levels. But I put my best foot forward, give, my justification for why I vote and believe in what I believe in. And I got to just stand my ground, and put it out there. So in regards to water, having lived, being on Kuleana lands and dealing with water diversions on Honolua Stream and all that, it's imperative that we, the Kuleana landowners, get first rights, their due right to access to water, and equal share or in-stream flow standards, whatever the designation is for the proper use of the water. It has to be. And again, I've always been a person who I'm not dictated by others, strong arming or threats or whatever you want to say it. It's like ultimatums. I'm going to stand by what I need to, what is the right Pono thing to do. I will do it regardless.
Thank you.
The outcome. So
Thank you.
That's my stance. Thank you.
Great.
Lisa.
I think we're moving on to Mark now.
Okay.
Yes, Mark Joyner.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Aloha, Ellie. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you, Mark.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you. So I just wanted to start out by asking, what do you feel are now that the district wraps all the way around to Kahakaloa and to the windward side, what do you feel are the top 3 issues that you would like to see addressed in your tenure, or at least your initial tenure?
Yeah, I think infrastructure, the roads. I know there's issues in the Waihe'e. I've been in touch with current House Rep Troy Hashimoto, whose part of his district will now come into this West Maui District 14. So I've touched base with him to ask him what are the key issues that he's seen. And it's like speed bumps on the roads. It's the traffic going around the Kahakaloa roadway, guardrails, just kind of the safety of the infrastructure on road system, which again, I'm keenly aware of, having been a chair for infrastructure on the county level. So I feel like I'm very well versed in that. Also, Kuleana lands and water issues are a big thing in the Waihe'e, Wai'ehu area and Kahakaloa, similar to where Honokahau and Honolua, and coming all around here towards Lahaina, Honokowai, Kauaula, and these areas. So I know the infrastructure is a key thing, and water issues. The Hawaiian homes, Wai'ehu Ko's are located in that area too, which I'm reaching out to go door to door and also touch base with a lot of the Ohana that live in the area. And that's what I've been doing. Just reaching out, and that's what I do. I get involved with the actual people of the area to talk story and really get the pulse of their community. And so far, it's been, a lot of the shoreline issues, water, and road infrastructure stuff.
Yeah, that certainly makes sense. Do you have just a couple things to say? I'm sure we'll plummet later, but in terms of the homeless situation here on Maui?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of that here in West Maui. And I know that we can, it just kind of boggles my mind that this council had balanced, $1 billion. And yet we have the homeless, and yet they're closing. I don't get why that is. And again, I've always said this on every of my campaign, and in particular, the mayoral campaign. We have a lot of money, and it's the way things are prioritized. And that's definitely going to be a high priority for me. Again, I'm the new kid on the block at the state ledge, but I'm going to stand by the things that I know this community needs and speak loud and clear about it and do the best that I can to make things happen for us. And homelessness and affordable housing and all those things are very, very key points in what I want to take to the state level.
Okay, great. Thanks, Ellie.
Thank you.
Jan Hodges will be next.
Aloha, Elle.
Hi.
Hi. So good to see you. The legislature has been talking about diversifying the economy for as long as I can remember, 20 plus years. But we saw from the COVID-19 impacts that we are still clearly completely dependent on tourism. And we didn't really see any of the changes that the community was asking for during 2020 in this recent legislative session. What is your idea for diversifying the economy in a way that provides good jobs that residents actually want?
Yeah, I totally hear you on that one. I was hoping that the whole lockdown, shutdown during the COVID would get us to rethink how we're doing things, especially our, eggs in one basket with the tourism industry. But yet we opened up the floodgates and we're back to square one with tourism again. And now, yes, we want to manage it, which is good. But again, I'd like to focus on our jobs that get us to that sustainability point. And we talk about it day in and day out, but yet where is that happening with our farming, with our energy, with all these things, which will create good jobs and good paying jobs. So I'd like to get into different, I don't know what the big thing is about hemp, people freaking out about it. I think it's a great industry that we can get into. And having traveled internationally just recently, there's so much opportunity with other countries that want to, import, export, and they love anything of Hawaii and Maui. Let's get things growing. Let's get products out there. So I know, people want to be entrepreneurs. People want to have careers and not just service industry type jobs. But it's I hope to get out there and have that discussion with people. Our medical industry, medical communities we need, especially with this day and age and COVID still hanging over our heads. The sky's the limit for me. And again, it's about collaborating with others who are already currently there and working with to see what really is doable and achievable.
Well, and can I ask a follow-up? Do you have thoughts in terms of specifically the Hawaii Tourism Authority, what should be changed or what could be made better? Because I think we've heard a lot from them saying, oh, now we're going to do this, now we're going to do that. And that thing of attracting bringing people here to work from home from Hawaii, which sounded crazy to me. But, what do you have thoughts on HTA in particular?
Well, I've always been one that, Maui Visitors Bureau, that Maui sells itself. And why are we giving them multi-millions of dollars to sell and come to sell Maui? Hawaii, people already know us and people are going to come. And let's create, let's educate the people that come here. They're starting to tackle that a little bit in videos and educational pieces. So when people come here, they're respectful. They understand, being a nice visitor and respectful and knowing our culture and, I think that's the type of tourism, volunteerism, things of that nature that I'd like to see we attract more of. But I think we don't need to keep funding them to keep selling our islands to entice people to come, because they are coming and they know who we are, where we are. But let's make sure that the people that come are respectful and understand, our needs, and that this is our home and they are visiting. And please, be respectful and take to heart who we are, and enjoy. But again, take home, I don't know, take the message of aloha back home with them too. So it's I think there's talking about quantity instead of quantity, quality, like quality visitors. Well, I think that comes with educating people, so they become good upstanding visitors here and respect our needs.
Thanks, Ellie. I don't remember who's
Alan Lloyd will be next.
Hi, aloha, Elle.
Hi there. Aloha, there you are.
Nice to meet you.
Same here.
So I have two questions. One is, what do you think the minimum wage should be in 2022 this year?
I've been fighting that issue from back when I was on the council level, pushing that. And people need to be making at least $18 to $20 to just make ends meet nowadays, or if at the minimum. We have a small surf shop and we don't go under 20 because we understand that that's just the basic, just to make ends meet for a young family raising their kids and paying their bills and trying to survive. They can't even put away, for future. But again, I'm totally supportive of the state ledge bumping that minimum wage up. But, you hear the counter, especially the small business people, which I am one, and they're saying, "Oh, we can't afford it. You're going to put us out of business." Well, I beg to differ on that one. I feel like, you pay good and you get quality workers. The people want to come to work. They enjoy coming to work and they know they're getting paid for what they're worth. So I'm very supportive in raising our minimum wage on that. But again, no, I don't want to put people out of business. So we got to juggle and see what that balance is, But people need to get paid more.
All right. And then my follow-up question is, would you work at the state level to either increase the timeline that has been set to get to $18 an hour, or to increase the actual minimum wage to $20 an hour?
If that would fly, raise it up like now, great. But that probably wouldn't happen. So it's one of those things where it's a work in progress and you got to just sort of juggle it around with others to see where it goes. But definitely, again, when I was a council member, I was pushing this legislative package through the state level years. It's been years. And it's still it lagged, but here we are with some movement. So I'm very excited to see that. And if I could wave my magic wand, it would be 20 right now.
Okay, thank you.
Bruce Douglas is next.
Hi, Ali.
Hey, Bruce. Nice to see you.
Questions about sustainable agriculture. There's a lot of talk about, making food sovereignty for Hawaiian Islands. We have one of the largest plantations on the island, yet it's still a long ways away from food security for the people of the island. When you get on the state level, what can you do? What will you do to improve our situation for food sovereignty and sustainable agriculture?
Well, land and the water issues are critical. It's definitely needed. And again, I think with Lucy's first opening question about water allocations, and that's very important. We can't do anything without water. And I look around here in West Maui with a lot of land, And again, the issue in greening up these areas and growing and getting to that sustainable level is water. Or it's landowners, hanging on to all this property, not willing to do it. So incentives, hopefully can work. And I think we just have to mandate it. We have a sustainability, 2020 to 2030 plan that won awards. And again, I see all the bullet points to get us there, but I'm still looking around going, who's actually doing any of these things? And that's been ongoing. So I would push all those points that need us to get there. And and hopefully I can get into some of those committees. I'm only one guy, one vote. Again, new kid on the block, but I need to make sure that I can get into these committees where I can have a voice at that table to, push the initiatives and be a voting body there to push these initiatives. So again, I'm very, very excited, and I want to see what we all been talking about for years now. Just the one simple idea with the Maui Food Hub, that I remember it being just the thought, and now it's happening, and the community is so involved with it, and that's helping grow our farmers, our local farmers, keep our money economy here, all that great stuff. But just bring that into the bigger level, and hopefully to a global level where people want to buy what we produce. So that's hopefully where I can get us to.
Thank you, Elle.
Thank you. Good to see you, Bruce.
Great. Next will be Ann Kathleen.
Hi, Elle. Aloha.
Oh, hi there. Aloha.
Yeah, I know you've served 8 years in the council. I'm sure you've gained a lot of knowledge and experience in all those years.
Yeah.
I want to address something that you mentioned, express an interest in, and that's education. And you mentioned something I read, I think on your site, that you wanted to, preserve the Lahaina Luna boarding program, which I'd never heard of, which is actually 186 years old.
Yeah.
But so I don't know why something like that can't be duplicated in other high schools, public high schools. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe explain what that is.
Lahaina Luna is the oldest school west of the Rockies, and also the only public boarding school. And it started out pretty much like it's like a work study type program. But it was meant to have the kids and families from the rural areas, Hana, Molokai. Councilmember Shane Sinensi is a graduate of that. He boarded and he graduated from Lahaina Luna. And it was able to bring all our kids from different rural areas to come here, live on site, get educated, but also, learn farming. They had one of the biggest farming programs, livestock, all the restaurants. My mom had a restaurant in Lahaina. That's where she bought her eggs, got her beef, got her sweet corn. One of my first jobs was sewing leis at Lahaina Florist. Our tuber roses came from Lahaina Luna. I mean, this is what a group I'm with, the Lahaina Borders Association, is about. Because every year we have to sit here and fight to get the money, $250,000 every year to keep the boarding program alive. It's like, why? It's such a no-brainer, it teaches the kids independence. They're away from mommy and daddy. They're here, independent. Yes, they have to time manage. They got to do their laundry. They got to make their bed. They got to get up and, do their chores, what have you. This is life skills they're being taught, and that would be great to, instate this in other schools, but it's just been a challenge just to have it here. But that's why I want to get into the state level to make sure that this will be protected, funding will be protected, and in perpetuity, that this doesn't have to be such a struggle and fight to keep such a great program alive. So hopefully, we can grow the model, because I'll tell you, it's just awesome. And it creates wonderful adults and productive members in the society that have such a camaraderie with one another growing up like this. I went to a boarding school also, Seabury Hall, private, but you build a sense of, ohana. with that. And it's again a great program. So working very diligently on making sure we can keep it alive.
Great. I wonder if that could be duplicated without the element of actually living it there. But anyway, I think that's wonderful. It's kind of like on the job skills, life skills, and not just in a classroom setting. So I could follow up on that. I wanted to address the DOE, Hawaii DOE, and that'll be a new experience for you. And, you know, during the pandemic, there erosion in the quality of education, and a lot of teachers resigned, leaving a severe shortage of public teachers, school teachers. And so there was recently a $690 million federal fund for that. And then also there was a recent proposal to increase the Hawaii teacher's salary based on experience. Apparently, they never had this step series where based on like your 10 years, you got an increase in pay, you know, which was surprising for me to hear. And now they've proposed this. But what do you think we can do to retain teachers for the long haul?
Yeah, I think just that.
I mean, you haven't had experience with this yet, so I'm kind of just throwing this in.
And because I haven't, I've really been focusing on it and getting involved with the schools, with DOE, with the teachers union, the questionnaire I already filled out, and really went through it and learned exactly what are these questions about. And so, that what you just talked about, the steps and paying teachers what they're, according to their qualifications. You know, you have a double master's in something, you had to go through schooling that much longer and paid that much more. And so you earned the right to have more pay. So, and that's blew my mind that's not how it worked. So we need to pay our teachers what they're worth, number one, and we will retain good quality teachers, and they'll be happy because they can survive and make ends meet too, and do what they love, which is educating our keiki. And so that's totally key, which I'm very supportive. And housing, right? So I think they're looking at specifically housing for our teachers, our medical profession, nurses, and so we can bring the school here said, I got people from all over that want to apply and get a job here, but fine, we can pay them. They have a job, but they have nowhere that they can afford to live. That's the bottom line too. So there's a whole huge development coming up here off the bypass for affordable rentals. Whether the teachers' salaries fall into that affordable, price ranges, I'm not sure, but hopefully they do. And they can have a place to live, to come here and fulfill the needs of our teacher shortage. So that's really key too, is that they have a place to live, and of course, and pay to make ends meet.
Great. Yeah, I think there's also was a problem expressed by teachers that there's a really poor student or to teacher ratio. Yeah.
So thank you, Ann, for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Elle, I'll ask the next question. And you're going into a place where there's legislation that's being passed and bills being formed. Are there specific issues right now that you would have a couple of bills that you would write and support to get some significant changes, moving the needle here in our state?
Well, I'm really dismayed to read the front page the other day about the funding for our northern portion of our Lahaina bypass being gone off the stip. I mean, that's just like, oh no, that can't happen. And they're like, I guess our roads here aren't high priority compared to what rail and whatever else is going on Oahu. And again, I don't want to, come out the gate rubbing people the wrong way, but I do see Oahu as a lot of times Oahu centric. And that's one of my main goals, is to go over there to make sure that our Maui Nui voice is being heard and they truly understand our needs, and I'm going to say it. I mean, you all know how I am, and I'm going to speak out and I'm going to stand for what I need to stand up for. and say it loud and clear and fight for it, really hard as best that I can. And so it's getting what we're due. West Maui, South Maui, besides Waikiki, are some of the top 3 geese that lay the golden eggs for this entire state. And they need to understand you need to take care of your geese that lay the golden eggs for all of us. And so we need what's due to make sure that our world keeps going around in a good quality of life for everyone, visitors, and especially us, the resident Kama'aina people that live here, that service the people that come and visit. So I'm, that is key for me to make sure that we get what's due us here in Maui County. Yes, District 14, but as a whole, I can't help but know that we're all connected. And it's just, it's a whole new playing field for me. So I may not have specific legislation in mind, but I am in touch with Angus McKelvey's office. And I did this with Joanne Johnson. Before she left office, I went to her and I said, Joanne, what is it that you have not completed? What is it that you want to continue? I will just hand the torch over, hand me the ball, let me run with it from here. And there are several things that she did. One was the steep slope terrain bill, which, sounds very exciting, but I was able to make that happen. So I'm going to do that with Angus McKelvey. There's a couple of things that he has in mind that for sure. And it is the highway money, that he says we can't let that drop. So, and I'm going to follow up with what other things that he would like me to continue that he hasn't been able to accomplish.
So along those same lines, Ellie, I just wanted to ask you about, you're basically going into what I've heard described as the lion's den. It's not a very friendly environment for people who have more of a progressive platform. Certainly Tina has had experience along that line being, how would you handle some of those challenges in dealing with such a large body that you have to interface with?
Right. And I think I've met a few progressives and got to, have a sit down and really get to know them a little bit more. But I also reach out to others, and that's where I've already started to build rapport and got to just lay it out. I don't beat around the bush. I tell people like it is. What you see with Ellie is what you get. Here I am. Hi, nice to meet you. And, and I feel like people, they've been very receptive to that. And they understand, you sound like you're more progressive. I'm like, yeah, good. And so, there's a chance of 15 new seats turning over and 15 new progressive people coming in to the state ledge. That's a nice number. I think with those kind of figures, we can move that needle where we want it to go. And so I'm very optimistic. So should I get in? I may have, half of the 25 people there that we are thinking alike. And I think we can band together and do some good things. And the hardship and sort of the salmon swimming uphill or going against the grain, I did that for 8 years on the council. Much more so in the first couple of years of my tenure there. And it got better as the years progressed with more and more progressives coming in to be supportive and more like in my camp, so to speak. But, I survived and I came out stronger for it. And I got to learn a lot and I got to learn how to deal with those situations, I think, in a productive way. So
great.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. And I just want to get Lucianne has another question that she'd like to ask.
Thank you.
Okay.
I would know because district is all over the place now. It's not just the west side and a little bit of North Kihei. Do you have a strategy if you're elected for regularly outreaching and keep in touch with the different communities in your district? Because I think this is something that we do here in the community. Oh, we love Ellie, but we never hear from her anymore, that kind of thing, or, substitute whoever the elected official is. And Have you given thought to that? Would you have local staff in Maui, or a way that folks could be in touch with you easily?
Yeah. I felt like I've always been very responsive as a council member too. And with this job, I'll be away Monday through Friday, come home on weekends, and thereby that's when I can literally be that person to go to different neighborhoods or check in, of sorts, if I hear certain issues are happening, because that's really how I learn and get to understand what the issue is, physically going to places and talking and seeing it with my, firsthand experience. But yeah, I'll see if money, dictates that I can hire someone to be the boots on the ground and eyes and ears for me here, or I don't know, a volunteer base or something. But I feel like I'll be able to manage that, and I like it. I mean, it's Ma'alaya. It goes around the head of Maui, Kahakaloa, Waihe'e, Wai'ehu. It is a large land mass, but if you look at the ratio of population to land mass, that it's not really heavily populated, So, and in a lot of ways, I feel like this is like a microcosm of the state in demographics, from your gated community, high end, offshore investor type people, and your kuleana landowners living, in the valleys off the grid, living sustainably, and condo dwellers. I mean, it's just, I feel like it's such a broad spectrum of people. And, but I feel like I have a good pulse on that, having been dealing with it on the council level, countywide. And that's sort of my idea. Thank you.
Great. We'll have Mark Joyner next.
Yeah. Hey again, Elle. I wanted to bring up the whole idea of recycling and the fact that we have these several recycling centers now. We're such a small island, and to me, it's just absolutely critical that we keep our landfill to an absolute minimum that we possibly can. And we've never really had curbside recycling. I would love to see that made a priority. I don't know if that can happen at the state level, but I'd sure love to hear your thoughts on it.
So having been infrastructure chair, Department of Environmental Management was one of the main departments that I dealt with day in and day out. And that was one of the big things I kept pushing. And unfortunately, at the time, Arakawa was mayor, and, he wanted the whole, burning trash to energy thing going down, and really made every excuse in the book not to do curbside, the 3-can plan. And I was always supportive. So again, I still am. And having just come back from other places, that it's just a norm everywhere. I mean, people must have thought I was crazy taking pictures of their recycle bins in Spain and Portugal and Italy and France and everywhere. But I mean, everyone just does it second nature, and we of all people need to and should be, being that we're on such a finite landmass of islands. So yes, that is something that's always been near and dear to my heart. But unfortunately, when you have administration that's not supportive, it doesn't matter all the money in the world, you can proviso it and throw it out there. But if they don't implement the program, it just falls flat.
Sure.
So, I know Oahu is above us in Maui County in the 3-can plan and curbside and all that stuff. They're already doing it there. So hopefully, on the state level, we can, I don't know, mass mandate it.
Boy, I hadn't heard that. So there's a good model. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Elle.
Next, we'll have Say Chan Hodges, and this will be our last question.
Hey, Elle. So going back to what you said about Oahu centric, we have the issue of not being able to testify, not being able to go in person without spending a lot of money. We saw that with the water theft bill, especially for people from East Maui. Seems like it's getting a little better. I was able to testify remotely in the legislature this session, but I don't think it's across the board, or you could testify whenever you want. there's also the issue, you're going to have to live on Oahu part-time, basically. And if you had small children or something, that would be almost impossible. What are your thoughts about how we can fix that in terms of actual true representation of the neighbor islands? Because I don't think we have it now.
And I completely agree with you. And that's going to be, it blows my mind how they operate there to begin with. I went over there like, yeah, I want to shadow them and watch them do their job and, watch all the deliberations. They gavel in, and then it's like, okay, caucus, like, wait, where did everybody go? How long are they gone? What are they doing? How come I can't hear? What? And they're like, I don't know how long they're going to be gone, as long as they're gone. I'm like, that's how it works. And they literally do things behind closed doors, and the public and people have you can't watch. They don't have sunshine law like we do. So yeah, no, I hear your frustration, and it is frustrating for me to think this out. But again, I want to get in there and say, listen, how do we make this a more open, transparent, interactive thing? But I don't know. It's just like kind of crazy how they do their work over there. So by the time they get to the floor, it's already a done deal, really. And so there you can go and talk all you want, but they already made their deals with each other in caucus. So, okay. And it was just, so learning this is definitely a shock for me, because that's not how we do it on the council level. So there's a lot of changes that I'm going to have to really jump in and figure out how is this going to, operate? Because yes, I want the voice, like I said, I want it not to be just Oahu centric. I want to make sure they hear us, from these neighboring islands, which I feel like are overlooked and because the hardship of getting there. But with Zoom and, their Oiwi television, whatever, like our Akaku, perhaps, so I got to just see, hopefully all of us progresses, because that's what we're about, is getting the voice of the people. Being heard and being their representation. So I want to get out of the dark and behind the closed doors and be out in the open and literally the sunshine. So I gotta see how I can make that happen.
Thank you. I hope you do.
Yeah, me too, for the sake of us all, really.
So Elle, we have covered a lot of ground, a lot of questions, and I'm wondering if there is anything that we haven't covered that you think is important, and would you like to make a final statement also? Well,
I just want to thank all of you for taking the time to want to vet the candidates out, because we needed as a candidate to hear your thoughts and hear your line of questioning, to get a better grip of what's important to you. Because for me, anyways, that's why I'm there, right? That's why I get into public office, is to be the voice and represent all of you and to take care of your needs as best that I can, to be at the table where I can make the decisions and vote on things that matter. And so I just, again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm super excited to get into this new level of government and bring, our voice of Maui Nui there, and the knowledge that I've gained for 8 years on the council. I COVID break, my personal life, family things that had gone through. It was good timing for me to just leave for a couple of years, and now I'm back. I'm energized, I'm raring to go, and I'm super excited. So I want to thank all of you for your time and energy, because that's, your time is precious. So again, greatly. Love seeing all of you. You all are very familiar to me, and I thank you for all your support throughout the years. So, and educating me, and educating me. So
well, thank you so much, Elle. Greatly appreciate your coming in and letting us know a lot more about you and your platform and why it's important for all of us to vote. So again, remember that, be an informed voter. And you can listen to all the interviews at Akaku, also on our website at MauiPonoNetwork.org. Mahalo.
Excellent.